Welcome back to Ego and Empathy, the podcast where we explore the psychology behind human behavior and the subtle ways it shapes our lives. I'm your host, Mandy, and today we're going to explore one of the most insidious, confusing, and destructive tactics used in toxic relationships. A form of psychological manipulation that makes you question your own memory, your emotions, and even your sanity. Today's topic is gaslighting. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely disoriented, wondering if you imagined something, or doubting what you know to be true, you might have been gaslight. It's one of the most powerful tools in a narcissist's arsenal, because it doesn't just change how you see them. It changes how you see yourself. The term gaslighting comes from a 1944 movie called Gaslight, in which a husband manipulates his wife into believing she's losing her mind. He subtly changes things in their home, like dimming the gas lights. And when she notices, he insists she's imagining it. Over time, she starts to doubt her perception. And that's exactly what gaslighting does. It erodes your trust in your own reality. At first, it seems small. Someone says or does something hurtful, and when you bring it up, they deny it. You might hear, "I never said that." "You're overreacting." Or, "You're too sensitive." You think maybe you misunderstood. Maybe you're remembering it wrong. So you start second-guessing yourself. And that's where it begins. Gaslighting is a gradual process. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow distortion of truth that makes you doubt your own experiences. The manipulator wants you to rely on their version of reality instead of your own. Once that happens, they control not just what you think, but how you feel about yourself. Let's look at some real-world examples of gaslighting, so you can start recognizing it when it happens. Example 1, the denial game. You confront your partner about something they clearly said, and they look at you calmly and say, "I never said that." You replay the moment in your head. You know you heard it, but their confidence makes you question yourself. You start wondering, maybe I misheard, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. That's gaslighting. It's not about truth. It's about control. Example 2, the emotional flip. You express hurt over something they did, and instead of addressing it, they make it about your reaction. They say, "Why are you always so dramatic? You're making this a big deal for no reason." Now you're defending your emotions instead of the behavior that caused them. They shift the focus away from their actions and onto your response. And suddenly, you're the problem. Example 3, rewriting history. A gaslighter might tell you that something happened differently than you remember. You might recall an argument where they yelled at you, but they'll insist they were calm the whole time. They'll say, "You're remembering that wrong." Or, "That's not what happened at all." Over time, these distortions accumulate, and you begin to question your own memory. Example 4, the kind confuser. Not all gaslighting is cruel on the surface. Sometimes it comes wrapped in charm and concern. They might say, "I think you're just stressed." Or, "You've been so emotional lately, maybe you need a break." It sounds caring, but it subtly tells you that your perception can't be trusted. That's emotional manipulation disguised as empathy. Example 5, the public performer. In public, a gaslighter can act loving and attentive, making others believe they're kind and reasonable. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. If you try to tell people what's really happening, they might not believe you, because he or she seems so wonderful to everyone else. This isolation deepens the control, because it makes you doubt your own credibility. Gaslighting isn't just about changing facts. It's about changing your sense of self. After a while, you start apologizing for things you didn't do. You start censoring your thoughts before you speak. You start feeling anxious before every interaction. Because you know you'll leave it doubting yourself again. That's what makes gaslighting so dangerous. It doesn't just distort your perception of the other person. It distorts your relationship with reality. And the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to trust your own intuition. So how do you heal from gaslighting? How do you reclaim your sense of truth after being taught to doubt it? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to how you feel after interactions. Do you feel confused, guilty, or small? Do you find yourself apologizing constantly? Healthy communication leaves you feeling understood, not erased. If every conversation makes you question your reality, that's a red flag. The second step is documentation. Write things down. Keep notes about conversations, messages, or behaviors that feel manipulative. Not for revenge, but for clarity. When the gaslighter tries to rewrite history, you'll have the truth in your own words. It's a way to ground yourself back into reality. The third step is emotional distance. Gaslighters feed on reaction. The more you defend yourself, the more they twist your words. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Set boundaries, limit contact, and protect your energy. Remember, you don't owe them constant explanations. The fourth step is rebuilding self-trust. After being gaslighted, your intuition feels broken. You've been conditioned to doubt your feelings. So start small. Notice what feels right and wrong in daily life. Even in simple things. If something feels off, believe that feeling. It's your inner compass starting to wake up again. The fifth step is seeking support. Gaslighting isolates you. So reconnecting with trusted friends, family, or a therapist can help you regain perspective. When you share your story, you'll often hear, "That happened to me too." And suddenly, you'll realize you're not crazy. You're healing. Let's talk about what happens when you begin to heal. You might start noticing how often you doubt yourself. You might replay conversations and realize how deeply the manipulation went. And sometimes, you'll even miss the gaslighter. Because chaos can feel familiar. But every time you choose to believe yourself again, you're taking back your power. There's a beautiful strength in that moment when you start trusting your own memory again. When you say to yourself, "No, that did happen, and I know what I felt." That's the first step toward emotional freedom. Healing from gaslighting takes time. But every bit of awareness brings you closer to peace. And once you've rebuilt that trust with yourself, something powerful happens. You become almost immune to manipulation. You start recognizing it instantly. And you walk away before the confusion even begins. Remember, someone who truly loves you will never make you question your sanity, your memory, or your worth. Love doesn't erase your reality. It honors it. It says, "I hear you, I see you, and your feelings are real." If you're listening to this and realizing that you've been gaslighted, please know this. You're not broken, you're not weak, and you're not crazy. You're someone who's been systematically taught to doubt yourself. And that can be unlearned. Piece by piece, moment by moment. You can rebuild your trust in your own truth. In upcoming episodes, we'll continue exploring the patterns and recovery processes from narcissistic abuse, including how to rebuild boundaries, reclaim your confidence, and form healthy, safe connections again. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon to stay notified when new episodes are released. Because awareness isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your healing. And I want to leave you with this. The truth was never lost, it was only buried beneath someone else's lies. And the moment you decide to believe yourself again, you begin to rise.